So, as you guys can tell from the title, I moved to Poland, the capital of Poland, Warsaw to be specifically, or in the mother language, Warszawa. And in this video, I just want to kind of break down my mindset, where I'm at, why I decided to make the move, and what I'm looking for here, and kind of the opportunities. Number one, the people that I'm interested in, looking forward to meeting, and more importantly, the person I want to become through all this. Number one, to start off, Canada, it was a great place. I lived there for 24 years, and it's brought me nothing but, good friends, good people, a good place to be raised as a young kid. But from the time when I was raised to what it is now, it's a completely different place. And I guess you realize these things as you grow up. And this video isn't going to be a video basically shitting on Canada, specifically Ontario, where I'm from, but there's going to be parts where I'm going to be shitting on it, the qualities, the different areas, just how it's changed so much, and kind of as I'm maturing as a man, what it was lacking for me, what it wasn't giving me, and just overall why I moved to a city and what I'm looking for in Europe. So to start off, one of the biggest reasons why I moved to Warsaw was, number one, I'm going to be doing dental school here. I'm going to be doing dental school here in October, so I wanted to familiarize myself a little bit with this city, with the people, make some friends, just get kind of culturally aware before, not just start school and then I'm in the city. So that was the first thing. Obviously, I'm planning on studying dentistry here, and if I'm planning on studying it, why delay myself moving here? I'm a firm believer that if you want to bring your dreams to reality, bring them by taking action, not hoping. So me moving here is kind of reaffirming to my subconsciousness that these are my goals and this is what I'm chasing, and in short, it's just bound to happen, rather than hoping and applying online, waiting at home, sitting and waiting and saying, oh, am I going to get in? Oh, am I going to move or am I going to make the move? Simple as that. Number two, culture. Culture was a big thing that was lacking in my life. There was a Polish culture and community. There was a small Polish community that I was a part of in Canada, specifically Ontario. Shout out St. Maximilian Kolbe. But it was very small. Obviously, I didn't do my own willingness to put myself deeper and expand my network in the Polish community where I was, but it was just lacking. Canada, it being multicultural as it is, it's gone way past that. It's not even, I wouldn't even call Canada multicultural anymore. It's anti-multicultural. The immigration has gone just so bad that it's 90% India. And there's nothing against, I don't have anything against Indians or India or anything like that. It's just if you're going to create a country that's going to be multicultural, distributed equally, there needs to be some show for it. But what I was seeing in my day-to-day reality was just more and more Indians were coming in, more and more immigrants were coming in, and it wasn't an equal immigration of immigrants. It was just kind of one-sided, and I just felt kind of almost pushed out of my own country. Pushed out of my own country in the sense that I couldn't feel the urge, or I couldn't feel the willingness to be Polish, being Polish in my own country, or just a sense of mixture and variety. So that was one of the biggest things as well that kind of led me to move out of Canada. Is I like multiculturalism to an extent. Obviously, anything, too much of anything is just not good, right? Water is great. Too much of it, you're going to drown. It's as simple as that. So I was looking for a place where I can, find a community and a culture of like-minded people, especially, being Polish myself. I wanted to, take the 10 years, being like 20 to 30 of my life to kind of like really get in tune and like just kind of like solidify my heritage, my roots, and just really understand where I come from, what the people are like from where I come from, and just like a little bit more about my bloodline in a sense. Number 3. This is a big one. Number 3 is also the biggest fact of wanting to live in a city and putting myself outside of my comfort zone. So growing up, my first 18 years, I spent in like the suburbs, just outside of the main city. Like there's Toronto, like the big city, and then there's Mississauga. It's like the suburbs, outskirts of Toronto, and it's just like a small little city. Like all there is really to it is just, unless you're like deep down in Toronto, it's just plazas. Plazas everywhere, plaza here, plaza there. You gotta have a car to go really anywhere. And it was just like a sense of, it just felt like a soulless city almost. And then I moved out to the country when I was 19 years old with my family. It was beautiful. We lived on or we still do, I don't anymore. But we live on a farm where there's lots of land and just basically quietness and peace. And for those past like 6 years that I lived there, I have nothing but good things to say about it. When you're growing up, it's that peace that brings your mind to clarity, and it actually honestly helped me think clearer and better because, being solidified and kind of pulled away from the city almost like helped me develop my own morals and values, what I kind of stand for, rather than just being kind of fed all this information and kind of creating somebody that I didn't want to become. And also just like living on the farm, it's just so like out in the farm areas. Like I didn't actually live on a farm. The house that we bought, it was a farm, and we turned it into just like a normal house, like destroyed the farm shed and whatnot and like the horse areas. But just like living away from the suburbs in like rural areas, I hope I'm getting those words right. Just honestly, it was so peaceful. Like you didn't have to worry about traffic. You didn't have to worry about like car accidents. You didn't have to worry about just like an insane overflood of people. It was just like a nice, quiet, peaceful way to live. And I lived there from like the ages of like 19 to 24. And as I got older, as like, my mind started thinking more about like, networking opportunities, business, people, like getting to know people. When I finished and graduated university, I took like a year off, kind of traveled the world, and just like, familiarized myself with like different cities, like small cities, big cities. And what I realized slowly was I wanted to spend my 20s, or at least the rest of my 20s, in a city. And I wanted to spend the rest of my 20s in a city, number one, because of like the energy, the drive, the motivation, and just like the outgoing personality that I am. I just wanted to, be around people, meet people of different like sorts of varieties and stuff like that. Like, business people, trainers, doctors, whatever, all these sorts of different people. And I knew I wouldn't be able to find that in where I was from, like a little farm, right? I wanted to go to a big city, and I wanted to be able to network and figure out, meet different people all across different industries. So after I finished, traveling the world for a bit, I became completely broke. I blew all my savings, and I got to work. I started working, and I started saving up some more money because, after traveling the world for almost a year, you go through a couple $1,000s, right? Not to mention there were some other things that were involved in like more spendings and whatnot. My car being one of them, and other things. Don't buy a BMW when you're in your 20s, unless you have an insane amount of cash flow. Let me just put it straight like that. Do not buy a BMW. Anyway, lesson learned. Yeah, so obviously, yeah, I got to work and I started thinking and planning. I'm like, okay, I gotta move out, I gotta go to a big city. And then, the first thing that was kind of on my mind was, there was really two options that I was playing around with. It was Toronto and Warsaw. Why? Because I have a passport for both of these countries. But then also, number two, I speak both languages, so it would have been easier. The dream was Florida, just because of the sunshine and stuff like that. But sadly, I don't have a Polish or a U.S. passport, so I would only be able to stay there a couple months. And number two, I really didn't see myself. It's hard to explain, but just maybe down the line when I'm 30 or 40, I'll figure a way to get down there. Or maybe even when I'm closer to retirement, maybe 60, I'll spend my time down there just to chill in the sun and not worry about the snow or whatnot. But snow's not even that bad, as long as it's snow and not muck and slush. It doesn't bother me, and the cold doesn't bother me either. I like the cold, just because it wakes you up. It's oh shit, I'm here. And then when it's too hot, it's also too bad because you're just stuck inside in the AC. But now I'm rambling onto why I ended up picking Warsaw. So obviously, like I said, dental school and whatnot, and other things that I'm not going to mention in this video, but might come to fruition in the future. But I had my Polish passport. I was just okay, my grandma has a place here that she's willing to help me out and stay here. And I was just Warsaw it is. So saved up for 8 months working. Like I said, I was in other videos, if you guys are probably catching up, I was working at Honda as a sales representative, and just stacking, saving, because I had to recuperate from 8 months, or not 8 months, 1 year of just blowing money and zero savings. And yeah, I finally saved up enough and packed my bags and moved here. And so far, my honest experience from the 3 weeks that I've been here have been nothing but good. It's so nice to practice the language that I come from, because where I wasn't involved in the Polish community as much, so I wasn't able to practice and speak as much Polish as I wanted to. And I'm extremely fluent in English, and I would say I'm very well spoken, but I also wanted to practice another language, just to keep the brain moving, but learn and just be able to be truly bilingual. Because to a certain extent, my Polish is I would say maybe a 7 out of 10. Some would say it's worse, some would say it's better. It's probably subjective to the ear, how you kind of process my language. But anyway, just conservatively, I would say I'm a 7 out of 10 in fluently speaking in Polish. But obviously I wanted to get that better. So coming here, being able to start speaking with people, picking up on some of the slang, it's been really nice. It's been honestly great to just feel it almost feels like home, honestly. It's so weird, coming from, or going back to a country that your parents immigrated from, and kind of getting familiarized with it. It's nice. The other thing that's nice, I'm going to tell you, and maybe some of you might be able to relate with this, and maybe some of you might not, but being in a city, it's just so convenient. The convenience of a city is unmatched to farmland, living on a farm. I'd want to go get something from Walmart living on a farm. It's at least 20 minutes of driving one way, pick up something, 20 minutes back. Let's say you went shopping, you forgot, I don't know, rice for dinner. It's Great, now I gotta spend another 20 minutes driving back to the supermarket just to come back. Like, there's pros and cons to everything, but like right now, like in my time and period of life, I prefer convenience. And being in a city, the convenience is that transportation is just so simple. It's just like everywhere is a bus stop, everywhere is the metro, everywhere is the tram, and it's just like you walk out and you're there, and then you hop on and it's just like you're being chauffeured by the bus. You know, some people shit on like being on the bus. Like, I've lived driving BMWs, I've lived driving buses. At the end of the day, it's just a transportation that gets you from point A to point B. And, you know, being on a bus, you don't really got to worry about traffic. You don't really got to worry about, you know, driving and like the stress of other people. And like, trust me, if you've ever driven in Canada, there's some morons. I don't even know how they got their license, but they drive in that country like they have just gotten their license that day. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And then it's also nice, like, you know, I didn't have a brand new car, but I obviously had like a used car. It was like 10 years old. It's just nice having that, like, not having that stress of waking up and it's like, fuck, is my car gonna start today? Am I gonna have to, like, you know, ask my parents to drive me to work, or am I gonna have to ask, you know, somebody to pick me up, or am I gonna have to like text my boss, hey, I'm gonna be late, my car's acting up, type of thing. Like, it's just nice not having to worry about like your own personal transportation. And then like on like public transportation, it doesn't matter whether you're rich, broke, poor, homeless, ultra wealthy, everybody is on a bus. Everybody is on the metro, just like New York, right? I was on the subway system in New York, and you see the whole variety of people. It's just like a place of gathering, which is also very nice to see. And it's just like again, like the convenience is just unbeatable. The convenience of like having the stores walking distance. I just go down my apartment and across the street and there's a store. I'm like, okay, did I forget something? Yep, okay, I got it here. It's just nice. And then lastly, one of the biggest reasons why, you know, I preferred being in Warsaw over Toronto is some people say, oh, you had Toronto right beside you, why didn't you move to Toronto? It's like the financial district, and it's just like one of the most popping cities. Sure, whatever you want to say, whatever your thoughts of Toronto, it's a great city to an extent, but it's also dangerous as fuck, and it's also unclean. Like, the smell, it just smells like urine on every street. It just looks untaken care of, and it's just very dirty. And like the people there, it's just like, again, it's almost like a very soulless city, and everybody is just putting on like a mask and a facade in this city. Whereas here, it's just like nobody's really trying to pretend or be anybody. They just are. And it's cool because like you connect to people for who they are rather than like who they want you to think they are. Which is like another cool thing that I've noticed. Like there might be still some masks here because, you know, let's be honest, every city probably has some people wearing some sort of masks. But what I've noticed here is just like, it's a God-fearing based country, right? And having like God at the center, uniting like an entire country, it's like almost uncomparable. Like it's an uncomparable feeling, especially if you are somebody that believes in God. It's like you actually feel that presence like behind people when they move, the conviction that they move with. It's not like this soulless city where it's just like, you know, pictures for the Instagram, where it's just like constant flexing, where it's just like dressing up like hobos trying to, you know, impress people because, you know, one of your favorite rappers looks like some homeless guy on a YouTube video, and you're like, oh, I think that's cool, I want to dress like that. It's just like, people are so civilized here. Like, they actually dress to, you know, respect each other. Like they come to a certain presentation, like they present themselves. Like, you're not gonna go outside. Like, I remember I was riding the bus one time in Toronto, and I just see this guy come and his girlfriend. They walk onto the bus, and they're both in pajamas with like Jordans, trying to act like gang members. I was like, what has the world come to? Like, where am I living right now where these people are out in the middle of daylight just not giving two fucks of how they look, and it just looks like they just came out of like a trap house, finished smoking like pot or something. I'm just like, this is not where I want to, number one, raise any children, but number two, I don't want to be surrounded by these kind of people. I want to be surrounded by like civilized, high thinking, high individual, like, like same kind of mindset as me type of people. And even like myself, like I used to dress kind of like bummish. Like I see myself now that I'm, kind of surrounded by this kind of community and culture. It's just like I even see myself like, oh shit, like I gotta step up. Like I can't be dressing like some like skater kid from the 30s. There's nothing wrong with that, but like you know what I mean. Like I can't go out of my house. Like sometime I remember a couple of weeks before I left to move here, there was this one time I was doing like last minute shopping. I think I was going to Winners to buy a suitcase, and I was just like, like I was just in my pajamas. I was just chilling at home, and I was just like, I gotta go get a suitcase. I didn't even think twice about it, and I just left looking like a hobo out of my house. And it's just like, to a certain degree, I'm not somebody who really gives a fuck about what people think about me, but it's also like to the opposite end of the spectrum. You have to like present yourself in a way where it's like respectable to other people. I feel it's like, okay, you're going out in public, people are gonna see you. As shitty as you don't want it, people, you never judge a book by its cover, but that's how people judge other people. And it's like, it shows a level of respect to others, because you respecting yourself shows a way that like, okay, I respect myself and I respect you, so I'm gonna dress accordingly. And it's just like what I've kind of noticed here. It's like people pull up to the gym in like suits, change into their gym clothes, go hit their workout, and then change back into the suit to go out in public to go back home. Like it's just wild, like a different way of living. And I'm excited to kind of be a part of it, be like, ingrained in it. And obviously I'm going to keep you guys updated, maybe do like monthly reviews, like, 1 month in Poland, how do I feel, what do I think, and whatnot. Obviously, moving to a new country, I wanted to put myself out of my comfort zone. I didn't have any friends here, I didn't know anybody, I didn't have any family here because we moved all our family back to Canada. So I thought to myself, like, if I'm going to put myself into such an uncomfortable situation, it's not going to be when I'm 30, it's not going to be when I'm 40 with kids and a mortgage, it's not going to be when I'm 50, when I'm, planning on saving for, maybe traveling like the ocean on like some yacht or something. It's gonna be now when I'm 20, when my fear is still low, I don't feel anything, I can go outside and be comfortable, I don't have any responsibilities. Like I legit just packed one suitcase, one backpack, and one duffel bag, and I just sold everything else and I just cut. Obviously I didn't have much to sell, but besides like a car and some other things. But yeah, like it was just like, if not now, then when? Like life's too short to live like, oh, okay, maybe in 10 years or something. Obviously plan for the future, but live for the moment. Right? To a certain degree, like tomorrow's not promised. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Like who said you're waking up? Like it's not written. Everybody lives in this sort of perpetual state that they're thinking that tomorrow is guaranteed. But tomorrow is not guaranteed, right? You don't have it affirmed. Like everybody likes to live in this way of like, oh, when I'm 30, when I'm 40. Like that's why when I hear people saying like, oh, if we're single by 30, let's get married. It's like, what the fuck? Who says you're gonna live to 30, dude? Well, what kind of stupid morality and way of thinking is that? It's like, live for today. You're alive today. You're alive right now. Start that business. Ask that girl out. Follow your dreams. Go to the gym, get fit, right? That's why people that like save up for, new year, new me, because I talk to people all the time because I'm also a fitness coach. So I'm also like, oh, what are your fitness goals? Just always like, talking to people, figuring out where they're at fitness wise. And like, I was talking to a couple people back in November, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm planning on starting in the new year, my fitness goals. Please reach out to me then. And I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, people just live way too comfortably. It's like, how do you know you're gonna live until the new year? It's like, why not try to do everything now in your power that you have? Because the new year is not guaranteed. It's just you're living so comfortably and you're living so in the lines of like, you know, like a lot of people say, the Matrix, where it's just like, you think it's going to be the way that it is. But if nothing changes, nothing changes. Remember that. And that's why I didn't want to wait until, you know, I maybe have gotten accepted to dental school in October. I didn't want to wait until I had a little bit more saved up. I didn't want to wait until I found a job. I just told myself, I'm going to come here, I'm going to figure it out. And in, you know, 2 days of moving here, I found an online job. I got myself a gym membership. I already made a couple friends. Like, it just starts unfolding. Like, once you start, just take action and then just let the rest be in God's hands. Because once you start living in a way of, or this is how I just like live with less anxiety, I understand that I compare my life to my car. I sit in my car, I buckle my seatbelt, and I hit the gas. The gas is me taking action, right? But I let my hands off the steering wheel because God is in charge of steering my life. The moment you put your hands onto the steering wheel, you are saying that you know better than God. You are saying that you are in control. Okay, you are in control of the direction of your life to a certain extent, but you don't know what's going to happen, right? You don't know if something's going to happen that makes you take another direction, right? That's why you just let go of the steering wheel. Life becomes a lot more peaceful, but just hit the gas. Take action every single damn day to reach whatever goals that you might have. And if you don't have any goals right now, or you don't know, you feel lost, just work on yourself. Just take action towards you. You know, develop your skills, develop your communication, develop your appearance, develop your looks, develop your, just work. You know, I don't know my dream job, I don't know my dream career. Okay, great, start with something. You know, go deliver fucking pizzas until you get an idea. Because what I've realized is like sitting and doing nothing and just thinking doesn't bring anything. The only thing that actually brings results, whether it be like clarity, whether it be, you know, physical manifestations of things, is action. And it's usually action in the direction that you're scared to head down. You know, if you're, yeah, like I don't need to say anything more than that. So yeah, overall, that's where my life's at right now. I'm excited, I'm nervous, but it's a good journey, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm curious to see how the future unfolds and what ends up happening. I'm sure I'm going to document it and kind of say everything that needs to be said on these videos for, you know, you, whoever's watching, but also, you know, for my future kids, if they end up not getting bored of me yapping and wanting to look back on some of the videos I posted, and maybe their kids do. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, I'm excited to be here. I'm gonna leave you like I always do. Create more than you consume, serve others, love everyone, and most importantly, subscribe and like the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.